Hey guys, what's up? Pitmarthrower here, and welcome back to Let's Play Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. In the last episode, we had to deal with a mission that was rather difficult, at least for this early in the game, but having narrowly escaped Dane's grasp, the Grill mercenaries are pleased to feel the ocean beneath their feet as they set sail. With how long of a trip that is, they're not going to be too pleased with that for long, but yeah. We'll take roughly 2 months. Thankfully, there's not like a ridiculous amount of missions between this ship leaving Crimea and getting to Begnion, so won't be too bad, thankfully. So as the ship passes the midpoint of its trip, the ship begins a course along the coastline as it begins to head east. So there's an arrow inside of the arrow. Well done, sir. So we're about right there, apparently. These seas belong to Phoenix and Kilvis, the kingdoms of the bird tribes, which is some of the last parts of the map that we've yet to see. This is Phoenix's here and Kilvis here. As you can well expect by the pictures, they are the Bird Lagoos tribes. The Kilvis Ravens and the Phoenixes are the Hawks. In addition, you've also got the southern portion, which I talked about before, that is just below Gallia. This is Goldoa. This is where the Lagoos dragons are. And now the map's done, because there's nothing to the right of Dane and north of that part of Begnion. And yes, it has remained isolated for centuries, and it prefers to stay that way. So that's what we're going through. Hooray! Chapter 12, A Strange Land. Thankfully, if I recall, this is actually a very easy mission. Ike's just staring into space. He's just seasick, yeah, So apparently he's been bothered about the incident with Toha, where everybody just went from being, you know, completely normal and decent to having ridiculous hatred for the Lagoos. Yeah, you're gonna see that. Doesn't everyone want peace? You'd be surprised. Hey dude, what's up? And yes, Nasir actually is a Lagoos. It's really hard to tell with the Dragon Lagoos because they don't have like a tail or wings or anything like that until they transformed. And he's also taken steps to make sure that he's not recognized, as he says, so there is ways to kind of disguise slightly. Yeah, also that, feeding habits. It takes a little bit of work, apparently, but spent many years searching for a way to make this. Yeah, I'm sure you have. So yes, we'll have our conviction tested, I'm sure, by murdering a bunch of Lagoos at some point in the story, which is like near the end of the game, and it is completely justified, as you will see why when we get there. There's our previous battle, and yeah, Leith, really? That's interesting choice. I mean, I know she went up the right side with Zahar, because she went that way by herself, but I didn't think she'd be the MVP. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's see what we got. Info. We have Boy, Volk, Zahar, and Eliana. Let's start with Boy. It's not Boyd, thankfully. Ike, grab that boy. What's going on? No more running for you. You might recognize this character if you play the sequel to this game, though. He looks a lot different. Like, mostly because he's short, but either way. This is a stowaway that apparently snuck aboard the ship, and we know his name even though they haven't actually told you, which is kind of interesting. I thought you were going to break my face. Yes, he clearly just like grabbed onto your face and pretended to make it melt. So this is Soth. He is a thief, but he did not come aboard the ship to steal anything. Ike always looks like that. That's true. He's looking for somebody, and he heard the ship was headed for Begnion, so he decided to join them. The person he's after was could be in Begnion. The trail went cold in tow, and he couldn't think of anywhere else to go. So Ike asks if it's family, and he says, I mean, we're not related by blood or anything, but yes, we're definitely family. So you can choose to either aid Soth or don't aid Soth. In aiding Soth, there's no like guidance chapter or anything like that. You will simply either recruit him or not recruit him. So obviously we'll be choosing to aid Soth. It won't be a burden to you or your crew. If that's what you want to do, it's fine with me. Soth is your only other thief that you'll be getting for the rest of the game besides Volk. However, the difference between him and Volk is he will not charge you to open chests and doors and whatnot. You won't have to pay 50 gold. On the other hand, he is a lot more frail than Volk, because he's just weaker. Volk's level 10, I believe, starting out, and Soth is level 1, so of course he's stronger. She thinks you're dying of hunger. 100 gold. You're going to charge me to make you eat. And it's more to pick a lock. Because he doesn't like large groups. Freaking Volk. Maybe you should just tell Misty's dead. Yeah, it might not be a bad idea. So interesting, Zahark is not from Crimea, but when he heard that she had joined with Gallia, he envisioned a perfect world. Now, I'm not sure how much detail they go into here, but basically... Well, no, I'll keep it a secret. I'll keep it a secret. If there's some reason you work with the Lagoos, I don't follow. Of course I have my reasons. Would you be upset if I didn't want to discuss them? They're personal. Everything's personal, sir. And lastly, the person that's getting benched for Zahark, and also because she couldn't get decent levels, Ileana. Ileana seasick. So she had just left home and she couldn't find any work, so she traveled with them for about 4 years. Quite the adventures. No, she's just hungry. That's probably what it is. Yep, see, I'm actually starting to get hungry. That's like her defining trait, is she always gets hungry. Always. It's really weird, actually. Rolf and Mist. So now you get more development between these two, where Rolf's starting to get used to the life of being a mercenary and fighting enemies. And Mist says the exact opposite. She doesn't want to fight in any more battles. Well, too bad. I need a decent healer besides Soren, and you're the only person that's usable because apparently Ileana does not want to get good level ups. I don't want to grow up, yeah. Well, too bad. You'll have to get used to it. Sorry. That's how the world works. Or squishing a spider. Well, spiders ask for it. Spiders are evil, so... Yeah, you tell him. You gotta do what you gotta do, and Mist doesn't get it. Oh well. She'll be fine, I'm sure. Okay, let's start by putting any excess stuff that we have in the convoy. Somebody's got an Elwyn somewhere, I'm pretty sure. Oh, well, maybe not. Or I just didn't see... Oh, no, it probably got sent to storage anyway. That's likely what happened. Alright, so I talked about Zahark whenever we got him. I'll talk about Soth in a second. I'm going to be using him to open treasure chests, but not in actual battle, so you won't have to worry about it in that case. Yeah, we'll have him take an iron sword. I believe the sword band is, yeah, still on Mia, so we'll leave it there. Titania will probably stop using at this point, because this level, like I said, is pretty easy. You guys could use another lance. Do we want to get... Yeah, we'll give him the killer lance, why not? Well, we could give it to Nephany, but, I mean, I don't think she can use it yet anyway. Yeah, she's still at E, she can't use it anyway right now, so no big deal. put the Master Seal in the convoy because I don't want to accidentally use that just yet. We've probably got a few people that are pretty close to level 20, but I just don't see them right now. 16, there's a couple of 16s in there, so yeah, there's a few people that are relatively close. Alright, so everybody else looks like they're good. Soth only comes with a knife, by the way, so if you are going to use him, which I would recommend using him to open chests, particularly in a level, I believe not this level, but the next one, it will come in handy, but go ahead and give him a vulnerary just in case he gets hit, because he's only got 20 health, so if he gets hit once, he's probably going to be losing the majority of his health. Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll work. Do I have any skills that I can assign? No. But I do have EXP. Which, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and get Nephany to the next level. This is always kind of the weird part of the game whenever I play it, because a lot of my units are relatively frail at this point. So you kind of have to choose, you know, who gets a bunch of levels and who you're gonna have to be more careful with. Because people that are higher up, like Mia, even though her defense right now is only 9, she does have, you know, almost maxed speed. So she's not in, like, serious danger, but you do have to still be careful with her. What's a Hark's at? 15? That's pretty good, actually. Strength is only 1 lower than Mia's, too. That's pretty cool. Go ahead and give Soren another level because he can always use it. Very nice. Give Rolf a level because he always needs it. This is going to be like an excellent training ground for Rolf. Unless I've got this level mixed up with the next one, Rolf's going to get a ridiculous amount of experience here. No, Ike's got plenty of time. We're not going to worry about him just yet. Oscar doesn't need anything because he's a paladin right now, so there's no point. So yeah, I guess it'll go to Mist. Why not? I think that's all I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and remove Titania's gear, because I don't think I'm going to need her. I might use her as a meat shield in this chapter, which you'll see why when we actually start it, because it's not difficult, but it's kind of one of those, it's a good training level for a lot of your weaker units like Rolf, so that's typically what I use it for. I think that should do it. So, let's go ahead and go over Soth's stats as soon as I can find, well, nah. Should we go over his stats now? I'll be right back. I'll make that decision really quickly and I'll go pull up his stats if I do decide to do that. Alright, I'm back. I figured I'd go ahead and go over his stats now, because it just seemed like it'd be easier to do it at this current point in time. So obviously, Soth is a thief. I already explained how these work. We already have one in our party with Volk. Before I go over his growth rates, because there is a reason that I will be talking about these secondly, and the reason is because of his skill Blossom right here. But Soth is obtained after Volk, which kind of ruins his usability for actually fighting. He starts out very weak in combat, and he's also actually not able to promote. He stays as a thief. The highest he'll ever get is thief level 20. He will pick locks for free, which is an advantage, but at the same time, later on you're going to get ridiculous amounts of money, so this isn't a huge loss. But if you're like that strapped for cash, then you could use him for that as well. Typically, in levels with chests, I bring both Soth and Volk in if there's a decent amount of them, because, you know, we'll save time, and it's just easier to do it that way. With the Blossom skill that he has, which is right here, this grants the unit fewer experience points but enhances growth over time. with this skill, it basically gives him good stats for an unpromoted unit, but his stat caps are very, very low, because you know how, like, Myrmidons can only get to level 20 or to 20 speed, and then after that they can't get any more till the class change. It's for that reason that his stats, even though they can cap easily, it does not make him insanely good. So, kind of a little bit of a difficulty there, and honestly, Volk will probably overshadow him, because Volk can and will class change, because it's a story class change. He does have a low strength cap, but if he's given the stiletto knife, which we've yet to see, it boosts the critical hit rate, so it will, you know, give him a higher chance for a crit. But since the knives don't do a lot of damage, that crit probably will not help too much. So use him to steal, do not use him for combat at all. I would not recommend that. The only reason I would ever give him experience is if you had literally nobody else that you wanted to give experience to, and you wanted to prevent him from getting hit from like a long-range spell or something like that, because typically if like a Thunder Mage gets in range of him and they have like a really ranged spell like bolting or whatever, if it hits him, it's probably going to kill him in one hit. So if you want to try to get him to avoid getting killed in one hit, that would be the only reason I would see to give him experience. Otherwise, I would not bother whatsoever. So, his growth rates. Without the Blossom skill, his growth rates are HP 60%, Strength 55%, Magic 10%, Skill 70%, Speed 65%, Luck 55%, Defense 35%, and Resistance 30%. Now, with the Blossom skill, whenever your stats are in the fixed mode, like mine are, whenever I started the game, I could choose if my level ups were fixed or random. If it's in a fixed mode, his HP will be 66.7%, Strength is 61.1, Magic is 11.1, Skill is 77.8, Speed is 72.2, Luck is 61.1, Defense is 38.9, and Resistance is 33.3. So, you do get higher stats from that, and if you play in the random mode rather than fixed and you keep the Blossom skill on him, his strength, growths will be HP 84%, Strength 79.8, Magic 19, Skill 91, Speed 87.8, Luck 79.8, Defense 57.8, and Resistance 51. So that's what the Blossom skill does. You do get better ones. So just to go off of a typical thief's stats, like what you would be looking for, skill and speed, his defaults are 70 in skill, but with random mode it would be 91, and with the fixed mode it would be 77.8, so those both go up in, you know, increases. So it can be very useful to have that skill, but since you can't give it to anybody else, kind of ruins it, which is a little bit of a shame. So yeah, just use Soth for stealing, don't use him for anything else. That's my personal opinion. I know he can turn out okay, but really what hurts him so badly is the fact that the knives do like next to no damage. So that kind of ruins it for me. But I mean, what are you going to do? That's just kind of how it is. So I think I have everything set the way I want it to be. One thing I'm going to do is actually trade this over to Zahark. Yeah, I think we're good. Well, I don't suppose there's like a decent sword in here, an Iron Blade. Does Mia have a steel sword? Yeah, she does have a steel sword. Yeah, put it in the convoy. Do you have anything else worth? Nothing to write home about. I'll take a steel bow and put it in the convoy just in case I need it later. There we go. That Armor Slayer is going to break, actually, so I think I'm going to put in... I'll put it in and then just let it break. Because it's not that big a deal if I lose it, so... That should do it for everything I need. So let's go ahead and start the chapter. So nothing we can do at any rate. We're being followed by pirates. Fantastic. Not by sea, by air. Okay, I did this is the right chapter I was thinking of. Are those birds? They are. They must be huge. They're lagoos. Yeah, so we have Killless Ravens following us, and they are pirates, sure enough. So apparently everybody noticed them except for Ike. I've heard stories, but they're really flying. Wow, birds can fly! No way! prefer to avoid. Yeah, that would be nice, but. Wow, that was a lovely layering example right there, where the back layer was shaking, but the front one wasn't. So yes, we have run aground. We must have got the ship caught on a reef. So it looks like we're actually gonna have to fight. Well, yeah, we got stuck. Look how close we were to the land. Of course we were gonna get stuck. Jeez. I know you're supposed to sail close to the land, but not that close. Jeez. Of course, it also turns out that this is a trap, so... Don't be level 4. Phoenixus or Gildoa takes an interest in what's here. Alright, let's deal with some birdies. You have a plan? Yep. As Soren will tell you, all the members of the bird tribes are vulnerable to wind magic, and they're also weak to arrows as any other flyer, just like a Pegasus Knight. So wind magic and bows, if you're using Soren as a wind mage / sage, or if you're using Rolf, this is a fantastic training ground for either one of them. The Lagoose Slayer will also help any of your sword-based units, which is why I gave it to Zahark and not Ike. Alright, take 2, and this time it's actually for a very interesting reason. I did not die on this. I did mention it was easy, and it is, but whenever I played through this level, I got to near the end of it, and the people that I wanted to get experience didn't get it at all. It was really weird, so I'm going to try something a little bit different here. To explain what I'm changing up, what I planned on doing was having 4 of my units here. I'd have Rolf, Mist, Ileana, and Soren in these 4 spots. You know, somewhere in these 4 spots. And they'd be covered by everybody else. So you'd have Mia, Zahark right here, for example, Ileana, or not Ileana, Nephany, Leith, Ike, and then Oscar. But the problem was I wanted Rolf primarily to get the experience, because since these are all bird tribe units, they're going to get bonus damage against Lagoos, and I would like to get Soren to Sage as soon as possible. Preferably, I would recommend, if you're not using a flying unit yet, you want Soren to be level to be a Sage by Chapter 15 of the game, and we're getting pretty close to that, with being Chapter 12. So I want to get him up to Sage pretty quickly. So what I'm planning on doing is actually making it to leaving out a few units this chapter in order for other units that are more important at this current point in time to get experience. So the plan is, instead of choosing the units that I had prior, what I'm going to do is remove Oscar because he's already class changed and he's going to be hogging experience, you know, nothing against him. Leith will also be hogging experience. Despite the fact she's only level 3, she is a lot stronger. You can tell just by looking at base stats, like, you know, she's got pretty decent stats. Even though she's only 3, she's like higher up than a lot of the other units are. I mean, Oscar's higher than her, but Oscar's class changed, so that makes sense. And she hasn't gotten the level since she's been in the party with us, so that should tell you how strong she is. So I'm going to remove her as well. And I'm also going to take out Mist, because Mist I can always get bonus experience to, and this really isn't a level that you need to have a healer on really heavily at all, so I'm not going to worry about that. And then last, I'm going to take out Ileana as well, because I said I was kind of going back and forth between whether I wanted to use her or not, so I'm pretty much debated not to use her unless chapters upcoming give me a lot of choices for people I can select. Then I might add her into a few battles. We'll just kind of play it by ear with her. So in repositioning, we'll have Rolf and Soren sitting here, and then we'll have the rest of the units surrounding them. So let's go ahead and move everybody as close as we can get them here. And luckily, in not using these 4 slots, we can put everybody very close together and it won't be an issue. Who has the Lagoose Slayer? Ike, I believe? No, I did trade it over to Zark. Okay, very good. So, with that being said, well, no, I'm not going to save. I'm just going to go and fight.